I saw.
That wasn't really.
Told you.
Do this first today. We can just do a quick rise and let's do our road.
Oh.
Pledge to the flag and pledge. I pledge allegiance. Tim?
Please join in prayer or meditation as I say, bless this food to our use and us to thy service. Amen.
I don't know if we've got a song today or not. We do?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
And I thought we have administration, we ought to ask God's blessing. So God bless America. No, it's not.
speakers should be in us on topic. We were gonna give you an announcement that we're moving to. This new part of how they're gonna do their restaurant service. So you got an indulgence today, because you got access to the full menu. That will not always be the case when we move forward for us.
Oh, now you're telling.
I'll be honest, we don't only know yet with John that we're still working, I'm sorry, with Logan, that's what we're talking with Logan. We're probably gonna offer you a reduced menu option to choose from. Off of their full menu concept, because when we met with Logan last week, they hadn't finalized the menu even. So we didn't even have a chance to preview today's menu. So you're getting everything. And I noted for you, I'm not trying to say that their prices are insane, but they certainly weren't within our budget when we adopted your fee schedule last year, for how much we pay for, a luncheon. So we're gonna have to make some tweaks, because some of the prices clearly exceeded the allotment that Paul has set at $16 a person.
That's yeah, that's what we're charging. Yes.
So most everything, if you got the 2 items of the side or even a beverage, you're already exceeding your $16. So we're all gonna be doing some dishwashing after this. No, we are not. But we are probably gonna, maybe, I'm not just gonna be ready for next week, but have, reach a decision for both the board and with Logan and the restaurant, what will be our offering for this club. We do want to make you aware this is a trial run for them. So I think we're gonna have to switch the way our meetings are run as well, so that they can get the orders in from us right up front. We may then do our program and announcements first. And then as the meals come out, eat as we go until we get to the 1 o'clock hour and they kick us out of here.
The president probably needs to order first.
That means I gotta get here early. So bear with us as we go through this process. Yes, it means you don't necessarily get refilled per se of going and help yourself for your beverages.
Oh.
They will come around and ask you for a refill. Again, we don't know what the charges will look like yet. This is, again, a new experience. So Paul has a heart attack later this afternoon. You know why? Betty, you'll call for the 911 ambulance service, right? Mark, if you're here, you can help him, maybe, maybe not, your call. So he did make us aware if this doesn't quite work out from table service, not just for us, but for the club, for the restaurant as a whole. He might consider some other things with us, back to sort of a buffet concept where we used to have at most of our other establishments. This is the first time, for those who've not been a member of this club long, this is the first restaurant I've ever been to where we posted our meetings, where we actually had food choices. It was just you eat whatever they were making you that day. And trust me, my first joined this club in 2006. We see the place down on Mason Avenue, Robbins. I don't know if it was Robbins or that was. I don't know. There must have been 8 weeks running. We all got liver and onions. I thought for sure I'm not joining Rotary ever. So I'm glad that we have choices. I hope we can keep it that way. We may again just limit some of the choices to keep us within a price we can still keep the club affordable for our members. Anybody have thoughts on your meals today? Things you want to share as we're thinking about this?
Yeah, I've already told them, the staff, that I thought the portions are much bigger. Prices may have changed, but the amount of food is great. I thought it was delicious.
Good. I hope everybody's had a good one. So as I found out when they delivered me two of these little things, I'm like, that's not a bowl. And they came out and they brought me a second one. They made a mistake and they said, here's, you gotta eat 2 of these to get to a bowl. So I agree with you. The portions are really good. Bill, sorry.
Yeah, before platter, sides are extra, now sides are.
Yes.
And we have to look at that as well. So.
These are all the things that, again,
That's why we have a board.
that's why we have a board. That's why we have a treasurer who goes a little freakish on us with pricing and keeping us on task. We'll do our best as we move through this process. So, some other quick announcements. For those who weren't here last week, we did make some changes on our board structure. Joan has stepped away as our treasurer. Paul is coming back in until the end of June as our treasurer. Then we'll see where we go from there with the treasurer. With that said, we are still looking what we call the president nominee. So Betty is coming in as our president-elect after my term ends in June. So we're looking for the next one to come behind Betty. So we are still making some queries and getting information out to people to make you aware of what's involved with being treasurer and the lead up to becoming treasurer. So we may be knocking on a few more doors yet until we can fill and have our legacy plan of filling vacancies. Some other domino effects that occurred when Paul agreed to step in as treasurer. That means he stepped out of being secretary. So Bill Strand has come in and he is going to be secretary for the board meetings. Libby has agreed to continue to serve in a secretarial capacity for our regular luncheon meetings. So we may still need assistance from time to time. If Libby's not around, I may be pulling a couple more of you to kind of fill in some duties for us, just because while I sometimes can pull double or triple duty, I don't like to do it. And I want to share the love with everybody. So just know if you get a tap on your shoulder, you've been tagged in.
Thank you.
And you're gonna have to help us a little bit. I think Paul is still trying to close out. All the traffic money?
There's still a little bit of traffic money that hasn't been turned in. And there's still dues, standing from previous quarters. I'm about to, I'd say probably within the next week, I'll be sending out new invoices. So everybody can expect to get an invoice for this quarter, in your email sometime in the next week.
Okay, just be aware, we, as you know, we had a little bit of a bumpy transition in our finances and turnover of operations. We're getting back on track to where we need to be. I believe we are there now at this point. So yes, it is incumbent upon each of us when our due statements come out, pay as quickly as you can. That way it's less that we're trying to hound for the next 2 months or 3 months, for the next quarter. So We appreciate, again, Paul stepping in. Ginger is okay. She's not gonna come and, hunt me down for getting Paul to come back in and do this, but, she's made it very clear to me that this is not a long time commitment for him. For her, so come July, we're gonna be looking at some additional transitions of our board and leadership. Other announcements that I have, coming to you in 1 second. So at our board meeting, we actually received a report last week or 2 weeks ago, Bill, last week, on the membership. There was a meeting that had been held up at Nassau, the Little Italy, there it is, I think it was Little Italy. Restaurant where a couple of our board members went up there and they heard a presentation from the district membership chair, Tracy Lego, about different types of clubs that are being considered and offered and allowable that we might want to consider to help grow our membership. There was some interest, and those board members who attended, which were Bill and Betty, went to it. They were quite interested. They brought a report back to the board of directors. We actually got quite intrigued as well. We had some questions from it, and we felt versus us trying to just get it for the board of directors, let's invite Tracy to come speak to all of us. So he is now booked up for our February 11th meeting. So we want and encourage you all to come back and be here for that particular meeting so we can hear about the two types of kind of alternate club formation that we're considering. One is a more of a social after work kind of meeting, maybe at a bar, at a restaurant where you can get some drinks and it's not as formal, or sit down with a meal. And some other components associated with that. So I really want you all to be there. We'd like to make some decisions coming out of that meeting, if we can try this in a trial run basis for a period of time. Because maybe you disagree with me, it'd be nice to get a slightly younger crowd coming to our meetings. And we recognize that maybe a luncheon meeting during the day is problematic and not conducive to some of the younger members of our residency coming in, take time off from work. So we would hope to try and offer something that might allow them to come after hours, after work is over at 5 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and in a less structured or different format. There also may be some conversation about just a service club alone, just to focus on those who want to come join a club, do projects in the community, but maybe not for all the social components that we're receiving as well. So we're going to talk to you about both of those options. So I now open it up for other announcements. I think Jason's going to give us a round of updates.
All right. So Bill has taken me under his wing to try and direct the youth for both Broadwater and Northampton. We have the RILA conference coming up, which is the Rotary Youth Leadership Award Conference, February 15th, 16th, 17th, 16th. And typically, at this point in time, we would have four students selected and committed. We do not have 4 students committed at this point. I think it's a function of inconsistency in terms of school inclement weather. Northampton, you have construction going on. And then we're having some issues with inconsistency with reaching out to different administrators that are administrating the clubs. And then, of course, when you're a teenager, you're probably a little bit stretched in many different directions. So what I'm here to do is I still have a line out to 2 students at Broadwater that were supposed to get back with me today. So we'll see about the commitment for them. I thought maybe I had a commitment for one of the upcoming valedictorians at or running. There's 5 in the 11th grade in Northampton. But I was given a no thank you this morning because one of her friends wasn't able to go with her, who was also running for valedictorian. So fine, whatever. So what we need to get someone committed like ASAP, like yesterday. And so I'm asking you guys if you know anyone who is, they don't necessarily have to be Interact Club members, just students, in either school that want to step out and become motivated and to learn some things about how to be a leader, if in fact they're not. Maybe they're just need a leg up, not necessarily a handout. Bill, because I'm asking you guys to think out of the box. Anybody who come across, say, hey, Rotary is here to, we want to give someone a leg up, beef up their resume. It's a resume builder. I am really kind of frustrated myself because I just knew I would be able to rally these kids, at least a couple, and I haven't been able to. Without pointing fingers, it's just since they got out of school for Christmas, they've been to school about 5.5 or 6 days total because of inclement weather. Today they had a 2-hour delay. So what happens is the Interact Club, when they have delay or they have a cancellation, they've had a difficult time rescheduling. So he and I were supposed to go up to the last Interact Club meeting, and it had been canceled and it was never rescheduled, was it? And so it's made it difficult for us to coordinate. I guess as in prior years, it wasn't quite difficult. But I'm doing my best. You guys, if you can help, let me know.
Yeah, we should, I've often thought that there should be more coordination here with, our Ken Buda, when he's a member here.
Yes.
High schools now require, what do you call it, service,
Yeah, 45 hours.
45 hours of service. So trying to split up into all these little groups, each one providing service, there are not that many kids, that have that interest.
Yeah.
I thought there could be more coordination. For example, I remember the Interact Club, did the janitor cleanup and repair.
Yeah, and reports
But if they had also added on to that, each student learned. I mean, what did you learn by participating in this? Well, it's not just service, but benefit from service personally as well by adding to your resume.
Yes.
I learned how to paint, or I learned how to order things, or I learned how to cooperate, or kind of tie that together. Sure. I like that a lot. But, go back to the Jason days, we served to become a better leader. Those are some of the model. But I think coordinating or maybe combining into the relationship, I think the school requires in the service function that you write down what you felt you learned by providing that service.
Right.
And of course, in school, those things can make a difference, Anyway, I'm going to suggest a cooperative approach.
Yeah, and maybe I'll reach out to Ken again. I mentioned this to Ken, but we had
It's jurisdiction, they do that, they do that, they do, but really, the mission and intent is the same.
right.
And not account for rid of it, but a little different framework.
I agree.
Yeah.
Have also been an excuse. And it's there's always going to be something. There are extracurricular activities also. A lot of stuff. And they're operating in different vendors. And so every weekend they're gone. And so they'll be gone that particular weekend. Competing. And so it's tough for their time. So anyway.
I don't know what they age group is for talking high school.
Yes. That might school.
Senior and high school, and they might be a resource and we should connect with.
Well, that's a really good point. I do know, let's see, 3 kids that are in school off. But I don't know any high schoolers. So you should be able to get that information.
School that's available in the state. There is one in contact where use all the home schools.
Okay, so, all right, I can do that. That's a really good idea. Now,
It's a good thing. They're all, do all the extracurricular activities.
They're not high schools. Right, they're not necessarily also.
Also, they're in a disadvantage sometimes. With their patients. So.
Sure. Gives them, all right, that's a really good point. Thanks, Jim. All right. Great, thank y'all. If you know somebody, send them to us and we'll talk.
They have to be in Northampton County, right?
And so.
Northampton County. That's it. Yep, with Accomack, they'd have the other. Okay.
Say. Somebody who's sure. If we were a kid or have a phone to them. You tried daddy. Yes. Yeah. I never make, yeah. Yeah, we can have a time of the essence, because that's 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away. So it's not that much notice, you know, or contacts you're making. Like, ASAP, so that we can try and chase it down and get them enrolled in time and sent off in time for the 3 days of. That's volunteers. And we are budgeted for this, part of the money that we've raised to help afford this, so we really would like to continue for youth services funding for this very purpose. Any other announcements from club members at this point in time? Joan? So Joan, you go first.
Last year we had the
Second weekend.
This year we're having the second annual Central Park Art Walk. It is on Saturday and Sunday, May 17th and
They
18th.
learn specific skills. Specific certain skills from some leadership.
And
Okay.
correspondence to.
How to be a
Going to
president.
be sending in registration on, yeah. But, if there's anyone who'd like to work on a committee with me, I have one volunteer so far. Let me know. Thank you.
Tom should still have an announcement about Diane Dawson. He's gonna make it. Just to remind you.
No, I appreciate it, Chuck. Go ahead. Mark.
There'll be a dedication of the clock. If all goes well on April 26th, the day of the love run, and the clock is being ordered today. We finally got the invoice.
Wow.
Bravo.
That's in April sometime, you say?
April 26th, Saturday.
Whenever we do the invitation, et cetera, Tommy Arnold wants to be included that day as well. He's our area district governor.
Area government.
Area governor. I always get the titles wrong. And I think we may end up having, if they can, 1 or 2 members coming over from the district leadership who would like to be a part of this as well. Because this is not a common thing occurring in our district as a whole, having a Rotary clock brought into a community. I think it is relevant. And if we can get some district leadership that day to come with us, I like them to also visit the Peace Bowl. So I'm trying to see if we can give a little tour of a couple of things. So, Bill.
Mark didn't give the whole thing about this, but the 26th of April is also the day, that morning is the love run, 5K, 10K. And the attic. It's gonna be the total dedication of the Strawberry Street Plaza, because they'll have the shade there. And it's gonna be, there's a party. I mean, it's gonna be a pretty good dedication, so that's what they're going. That barring that they get the shade in, okay? I mean,
Right.
this weather here is not conducive to putting footers.
Any other announcements from club members of events or things coming up? Karen, Karen Jolly Davis is on her No, like to Spain, I was about to say, where'd she go on her trip? She's in Spain for a couple of weeks. I have been in communication with her. The town has announced, once again, is Cape Charles Day. It will be the third Saturday in March. And last year we were able to align with them to set our cleanup date, for that day as well. We're going to do the same again. Karen is good with that and she's gonna let VDOT know and all that good stuff. So put it on your calendars because we'd like to do our Rotary cleanup of 184 on that third Saturday in the morning. And the joy of that is you then can come into town, into the park, and the council members are gonna have some hamburgers and hot dogs that they're gonna be grilling. You can eat for them, eat off of them, eat from them. Chips and cookies and drinks, etc., along with other community members from Cape Charles who'll be doing cleanup elsewhere throughout the town. They do
What month again?
March. The third Saturday in March. I forget what day
March
that
15th.
is. Thank you. So we want to get on everybody's calendar because we want to become part of what the town is doing at their greater effort of a cleanup day that day for Cape Charles Day. And we want them to know that we as Rotarians are out there and we are doing cleanup all the time for the town of Cape Charles for the entrance into the town. And we want to be part of those festivities and acknowledgements. Okay? Joe.
One of the things that they also do on Cape Charles Day is they have a shredding truck
Yes,
in
they
the
do.
morning. So and you can just bring anything that you want shredded. And they will have a truck that they put it right in the shredder in front of you. So if you have stuff that you want to shred and don't want to pay for it, remember that day.
Yeah, if you got personal paperwork,
You can
Here's the-
a cardboard box
Mhm.
that's filled with. Can have paper clips, can have staples in it, and they just put the whole box in. So,
yep, like you mentioned.
Good thing.
Couple of member announcements. So, and Bill has reminded me, Diane Dawson has had, recent knee surgery, knee replacement, I believe. And she is on the mend.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
Good.
I throw out a couple more, and I know they want us to keep this really QT, but I feel hard pressed not to share this with you as a whole. Dave Kabler's had some health issues. He is still not quite where he needs to be. So keep him in your thoughts, and if you happen to know him and you're comfortable reaching out to him, please do. Let him know that we're thinking about him. He's had some heart issues, and I'll leave it at that. I have not heard or talked to Alan directly, Alan Burns. So I don't know if anybody from the club can provide us information of where and how Alan is doing. Anybody?
I saw Ken about a week ago. Alan's coming along very slowly. Alan, according to Ken, is more optimistic than he should be. Just repeating what I heard,
Okay.
and so we have to keep him in our thoughts and prayers as well.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody else who's having health issues or is away and I'm just not aware of it, please let me know. Please share it today if you can. I'm not trying to overlook individuals. I just try and keep a running list, and I do reach out to them and check in on them from time to time. So that is all I've got for my updates. So we're gonna hit our happy dollars. Is anybody happy today? Bill?
I am really happy again. You know, these things just happen to me, but Mark is one of the coolest guys I know. I've always.
Which Mark? Mark Clark? Mark
Yeah.
Ostry?
No, not that. Mark Clark is the funniest guy. But as you travel around the country, I always would go into a town and there would be a rotary clock. And I have always said, wouldn't it be great if we had a rotary clock? And Mark came along, and I didn't do crap to help. You know, that my dream. But Mark single-handedly put together a plan, and I want to know the people he knows because he has raised how much money? $14,000. So I'm just really delighted to know him and he lets me talk to him. To the tune of $10.
$10, very good.
You can talk to me for much less.
Else happy. Joan,
I am happy, I will say to the tune of $18. Because the Epiphany party raised over $8,000 last Saturday. And it'll be spent between the Cape Charles Volunteer Fire Company, which is gonna get around 2,000, and Rosenwald, which is gonna get around 6.
very good. Very good. Any other happiness to share? Hearing none, I'm gonna do our Queen of the Hearts. Who's got the high card?
Uh-oh.
I got ace of spades. I believe we got our winner. So Chuck is our winner with the ace of spades.
You got the deck. Queen Hearts.
You can't hear, hang on. All right. Paul's got the bank at this point. He will tell you what your potential winnings are at this point, Chuck.
$31 collected today, so half of that goes to the club, which is 16, and then half of what's left goes to Chuck. Plus,
He did not draw the Queen of Hearts. We are
but you still
$8.
$8.
$8 is your winning.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
Okay, so my last quasi announcement for the club is there is a organization part of Rotary called the Rotary Leadership Institute. They offer very specific classes to teach us about Rotary Foundation, Rotary branch, Rotary clubs, everything Rotary you can think of. I actually went to it. I've been. I said, let me go to this. So I had nothing else to do on the weekend. Not gonna try to fill my time after my husband passed away. I went, it was the best weekend I had of my life. I'm not kidding. Stanley, we can all attest, it's really quite a powerful program. It helps motivate you. It helps you rethink what we're doing as Rotarians to start seeing a broader vision to what Rotary means to the world and not just to our local community, but it helps bring those connections back to our local community. I'm telling you all this because I've been waiting to announce, but they seem to have delayed in announcing when training would happen in our district again. They just have now released a calendar about a month ago. They are offering the part one. There's 3 parts of this Leadership Institute class. And again, it's a day program. It's about 6 to 7 hours. They are doing one in person in Farmville. It's a little bit farther. They are not doing it over in Virginia Beach, which is where I was hoping they do it. But it's in Farmville. It's going to be on February 1, if you're interested. Maybe a little farther to travel. What? I know that. But here's the silver lining here. They have also now put on the calendar April 26th will be a virtual class. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You can do it from your home and through Zoom, and it's just as effective because I did one of the 3 classes by Zoom. I found it just as meaningful because you were still able to connect with your other participants. They keep it relatively small. They don't have like a class of 60 or 70. It's usually around 10 to 15 people they keep, so you get to learn and know everybody who's part of your class. And they're not all necessarily from our district. because sometimes people have come in from the district up in Maryland or sometimes down in North Carolina, and they've participated in those. Betty?
So the one online, virtually, and.
Yes, it is. So I'm gonna push out that flyer to everybody to hopefully encourage you to go. If you do want to go to the in-person ones, we will cover the cost of you traveling to that program. We have funds in our budget for that. But again, if it's virtual, there is nominal registration. There is a nominal cost to sign up for the program. I think it's $35. Again, we will reimburse you for that. Mark?
April 26th conflicts with the other activities,
I understand that now.
so maybe in person.
Again, I'm gonna send you the whole calendar from the Rotary Leadership Institute because there are other virtual classes being offered, hosted by other districts. You can attend this by any district. I was trying to focus the ones for District 7600 so that we could network a little better. But if there are other ones that work better on your calendar, then do it. There is no harm because it's all the same information you're learning. So that's the last thing I wanted to do because I think we need to press more of grooming our membership to become greater participants in our leadership and what we're doing in our missions, so that I think will help improve your ability to volunteer for particular programs or service projects. It would, I think, increase your enthusiasm for what we're doing already. So I loved it. And actually, I'm considering becoming one of the instructors in Rotary leadership after I finish being president of here, because I really found it so meaningful. And so I'm thinking about that if I can squeeze it into my calendar. So that's all. Stanley?
Is that only the first number of one? I mean, because it's three.
There are three parts. You're correct. You have to take the classes in order, 1, 2, and 3. You cannot do them all in the same weekend. So you end up taking, as I said, I did two full weekends. I did the last one by Zoom at my house.
But what are they offering?
So again, that's why I'm going to send everybody the calendar so you can see where they're offering them 1, 2,
Okay.
and 3 as a whole across and do what may work best for you on your calendar. We do have funds in our budget to cover this, so we urge each of you, if you're interested, even if it doesn't result in you becoming on our board of directors in some form or fashion, I think it will help you understand Rotary as a whole, that we may not always focus on that when we're in our meetings, but that really broadens your horizons as to what Rotary Foundation is doing across the globe. I stress this because I am appreciative. We just had a transfer of peaceful power in our country yesterday, but I'm also disturbed by some of the things that came out of yesterday in some leadership executive orders. One being removing the United States from the World Health Organization, which is a big partner for us in the polio eradication efforts that Rotary does. And so those are some of the things I want us to think about and learn about. What is the impact Rotary is having in some of these initiatives, and what that means to what may be happening locally or nationally for us, and how Rotary will continue to play a greater role in some of those responsibilities in the world. So I'll get off my soapbox now, and I will ask you all to rise, and let's say the things you think, say, and do is right there. Number 1.
Federal concern.
3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
5. Mr. Stanley?
Will we have some fun?
Yes.
Yes.